So, good evening to everybody. Sunday evening. How is everybody? So, thought we come on tonight. Just been on with Uncle Bully. All right, Bully Biscuit. So we've just been on with somebody who was, having a bad time with the CMS, and we got down and had sit down and had a talk to an individual. Individual we talked to was an inspiration. So I said to Craig, should we have a quick catch up? Should we go online and have a quick catch up and do a video? And he said, yeah. So we're gonna have a quick catch up because we haven't been talking for the last week or so. We haven't come on. We've been quite quiet. We've had other things going on. So I thought I'd pull Craig on tonight. He doesn't do lives usually, but he has no choice because he didn't know we were even live tonight until I've just pulled him on. So here he is. Bully Beef and Chips, we're live, but so how are you?
Good evening, chaps. Not too bad, Neil China.
So how have you been, mate? What's happening? How have you been?
Well, I've been busy doing stuff, casework, and CMS seem to be on a frenzy at the moment.
Yeah, they do actually, because the gentleman we spoke to tonight, inspiration of an individual, and he helps other people, but it seems they got the better of him at one point. So yeah, it's they're using the way they're using mind tools and beating people up is unbelievable, So how's your week been, man? What have you been up to? Who have you wrote to? Anybody?
Oh yeah, the MOD. I remember I got that response. Came back with a load of waffle. Obviously not interested in helping the guys with the mental health.
Even though we've pointed out that we've got guys who are serving who got mental health not mental health. Everybody suffers mental health, but they're suffering because of the life stresses they have upon them, and the way they've been treated by government department. Actually, before we go on, because you sent me 2 emails we want to quickly go through. While we're on the mental health, and remember an email I wrote, and I said I pointed out that CMS, and the impact it has on some of the serving personnel. I wrote an email, Craig. I never told you who I wrote it to, but I wrote it to the Defence Committee, and I got a reply.
Really?
Do you want to see it?
Aye. Was it waffle?
Cabinet Office.
Oh. Wow.
So the reply was, let's have a look. Dear Mr. Spencer, it's a generic as you usually see. Thank you for your email 21st of February to Sir Stephen Lovegrove and Mr. Charlie Pate as representative of the Defence Council of the United Kingdom. The Defence Council is appointed by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. All right. As your email address is the support available to veterans, officials at the Office of Veterans Affairs have been asked to take responsibility for responding to you. That's always the same case, isn't it? And they've gone on to waffle the same generic stuff they do. We were disappointed to read of your dissatisfaction with the level of support available to veterans in the UK. But I pointed out that we had armed serving personnel suffering as well, which we know we have, Craig.
Absolutely.
And they went on the Office of Veterans Affairs was established as part of the government's commitment of making the UK the best place in the world for a vet to be a veteran.
If this is the best place for veterans, I'd hate to see the worst. Jesus Christ on a bike.
This government has committed to veterans in a way that none of its predecessors have done before. There is now more money being spent on the veterans community than ever before. However, the veterans community are having all the rehabilitation centres shut down. The centres RBL. The only people making money going into is the actual big charities.
Yeah.
So they've gone on incidents of mental health issues experienced by service personnel and veterans is broadly equivalent to the incidence of mental health issues among the general population. However, mental health is still a key issue, and any suicide is an unacceptable tragedy for an individual, their loved ones, and the military as an institution. We are totally committed to tackling this issue head on. However, they don't. How many people have been shouting about it?
I know.
You know,
I know.
and
as we keep saying, they're committed to it, but each suicide costs the taxpayer 1.7 million.
1.7 million exactly, and you know, and
Per
it says
suicide.
this is the cracker, Craig. All armed forces personnel are supported by a dedicated, comprehensive mental health support, the single service delivery mental fitness and resilience training as part of the basic training package, with additional training provided at appropriate points throughout their career. Additional defence mental health services are configured to provide community-based mental health care in line with national best practices. National best practices, here's the one for you, Craig, because they go on and say, you know, they're having community mental health teams, and they brought this thing called TILIS in, and they're comparing it against the general population. The majority of veterans access the same mental health care support as the general population through NHS improving access to psychological treatment services. The majority do so successfully with a similar completion rate, a wider population. However, I've got an individual I look after, mate, and she has severe anxiety. She tries to commit suicide quite frequently, and the civilian, as they like to say, the general population, NHS, they won't even touch her, mate, because they say she's too complex. Even the social workers can't believe, who look after her, can't believe the way she's mistreated and mishandled. And mate, it's the same, but this is quite a 60 trusts are already signed up. All right, and it goes on telling me about money they've spent in it, and it's quite a Op Courage provides a front door specialist mental health support by experienced medical professionals who understand the armed forces and military life. But they're not listening to the people who've gone through it and come out the other end, and they just seem to be chucking things, and it's the same crap. Mate.
Just don't listen to them. Don't listen whatsoever. And we have got information available to show there's serious wrongdoing going on with the CMS and the mental health concerns that the mental health issues that they're causing within the armed forces and veterans community, and they're just ignoring it.
This is a cracker. This is a cracker. They actually go on about how much money they give out. We also provided 6 million of emergency COVID-19 funding in June to support over 100 service charities during the pandemic. Remember what I was telling you about SAFA? SAFA were given £950 for a support line during COVID to make sure, you know, anybody was suffering the dark periods, they could phone up a helpline. And their helpline, mate, was only manned. They were given £950,000 for a helpline, and their helpline was only manned between 8 o'clock and 5:30 in the evening. 8 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the evening. And when people suffer with mental health, it's usually 7 o'clock onwards until about 5 o'clock the next day, because it's the boredom, loneliness, and your thoughts race 100 miles an hour. All right. And it's unbelievable. You know, they reckon the funding directly benefited 94,000 members of the armed forces community, with 77% of grants being used to ease social isolation, 66% directly supporting members of the armed forces community in the need of mental health and of crisis and support. I wonder if they helped the people we know, because they didn't seem to get any help, did they?
No, absolutely not.
The individuals we know, all right, and they just made, it's not. It would not be appropriate for us to comment on individual operations or service charities. If you feel the charities are failing to deliver on their charitable proposes, you should contact the charity directly. Or go to the charity commission. Oh yeah, all right, mate. We how many emails have we sent to different people?
Oh my God.
So that's what I've done. So I've sent it to Johnny Mercer's office again, and I've had a generic reply again, one of many. I'm going to put him up on my wall before long because he's now worthless.
wallpaper your room with it.
Actually, I'm gonna start wallpapering my toilet with him. Actually,
Wipe your bottom with it. Wait a minute. Back in a sec. Right, there we go.
Because it's just unbelievable. So that's what I've been up to, Craigie boy. Been looking at my responses I've been having, been pushing the coffee, So that's what I've been up to, and I've noted. What have you sent me? What have you sent me? You sent me links. Do you want to explain what these links are?
Racism in the CMS staff.
Right. Okay. Who's this? What's this one?
Barry Porter.
Fight against victimization.
Yeah.
What's this?
There's a guy called Barry Porter who's head of the financial investigation unit.
So, what's this fight against union victim activists?
Good. You need to go to the other one first, mate.
Go to the other one first.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's this one then?
That one. Have a quick read of that. It tells you about Barry Porter's past. Barry Porter.
Who's Barry Porter?
He's head of the FIU.
Who's the FIU?
Financial Investigation Unit, or Frauding Investigation Unit.
Right. So we wrote a recent report about the Finance Investigation Unit of the Child Maintenance Services in an effort to shed some light on a opaque group of civil servants. I can't even say that word. Whilst the organisation chart is redacted at the level below the Mark Gill, the positive pant wearing director of arrears and enforcement.
Scroll down a bit, mate. You can provide the link. Yeah. Scroll down. That's him there. That's Barry Porter.
Smiling assassin, he is back.
Yeah. He's ex Metropolitan Police. He was going to get kicked out from his conduct.
Where do you want me to stop? Oh, you.
Yeah, Barry Porter's Metropolitan. Now keep going down because that's about his fraud in the police. Keep scrolling down.
What do you mean fraud in the police?
Yeah, he's a naughty boy.
So, and he's in charge of a fraud unit, investigation unit.
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you that, yeah. But keep going, mate. Keep going. There's a bit about racism here.
Hang on, what's this? So what is DS Bradley charged with? Okay. So where do we go into?
Keep going down. There's racism. Keep scrolling.
But hang on, he was done for fraud. Got kicked out of the Met Police.
No, he didn't get done for it. He managed to. He went on the sick, didn't he? And he left from being on the sick. But he was he's done for misconduct.
So where is he, Bat? Senior manager during the period was a key set management culture. Perhaps he introduced CSA, CMS to some of his management techniques learned during his early career. More worryingly, he is now listed as the head of FIU. That raises serious questions about the judgment of the senior people of the DWP. Do you have? Yeah, finally. So he has a. Have you been offered proprietary chauffeur service or personal protection? So he does security work. So what are we looking for, Bat? What you want me to look for?
There's a bit about racism.
Okay.
Because there was a guy in the CMS who was delivering leaflets for the BNP.
Was about time.
and
Part
and
about
this Barry Porter wouldn't let the guy, this coloured lad, go to a meeting about about the black community in the DWP and PCS, something like that.
Right, let's have a look at this then. So you're telling me, okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
You got it there.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
That manager was Barry Porter. Right. So let's have a look. What about his time working for the DWP? Has there been any issue there? This part of Barry Porter's life is less obvious, but we did find an article about a dispute in which the public and the commercial service union had to intervene with respect to academic bullying in the Hastings office of the CSA. Barry Porter features prominently again in the account, and not in a positive way. Branch treasurer Winston Razalis, or whatever his name is, was sacked for asking his manager if he was being discriminated against after he had repeatedly been refused time to attend PCS Group Black Members Committee meeting. That manager was Barry Porter. The article, which can read here, describes Barry Porter as having an interesting part. The article is also fairly scathing about the management culture in the CMS Hastings office, which include, amongst other things, BNP leafleting and authorised amendments to official meeting minutes. However, it should not be thought this is the case of one or two rogue managers. Managers up to and including the area manager Carl Khan upheld this decision without pressure from the national union to get the case heard by the manager outside the Hastings. It would have been let stand. And then there's an account of a minutes being altered. An attempt was made to discipline Chris Brambley, branch chair, on the grounds that by representing Winston, all right, editor, the chap fired by Barry Porter, in his grievance and refusing to disassociate himself from Winston's questions, he was insulting the managers whose impartiality had been questioned. This was dropped after it was proved that someone had altered the minutes of a meeting in an apparent attempt to strengthen the case against Chris. An inquiry by the HR department found that the alteration of the minutes was an accident. Accident. How can you? I love it. And couldn't be traced to an individual. Chris wrote to the area manager pointing out spectacular possibility of that accident should have produced. So, mate, that's unbelievable. Barry Porter was a senior manager during the period. What's your props? I tell you what, mate, questions got to be asked all the time, because if somebody is in charge of a fraud unit, investigation unit, and they've been questioned in the past about their ways of doing things, then should they be in charge of the fraud unit? A fraud unit should be a standalone unit, Craig.
Should be.
It should be an
as we know, these people commit fraud all the time against.
So what's this other one you've sent me?
Right.
That links to it, I take.
Yeah, this was. Remember they wouldn't let that guy go to the PCS meeting, which was for the black community.
Yeah, because So this is more about a tribunal from the branch chair, Eddie Fleming, had been fairly dismissed, but management still refused to give him his job back. Branch Treasury Winston Razal Singh was sacked for asking a manager if he was being discriminated against after he had repeatedly been refused to attend PCS Group Black Members Committee meetings. On one occasion, the head of ER wrote to Winston's manager to say Winston's presence would not be necessary as he was not the chair. So they got alienation going on in the CMS, which we know about. So now they've got evidence of racism as well.
Yeah.
Victimization. Mate, it's to date there's been no apology. All right. So every time. So that's what you've been working on this week, is it?
I've known about that for quite some time.
Have you? So
Yeah.
So it's just a game they play, and I'm just wondering when somebody from the government, we know they're not going to do anything. We know everybody's,
No, because I'll tell you why. The corruption that's involved in the CSA and CMS and family courts, it's a multi-billion pounds industry.
It's all government.
Yeah, but you look at the corruption. What's going on now, right? There's going to be filth involved in the CMS. There's going to have MPs with stocks and shares in their companies that are supported, being given contracts to the CMS. I've got no doubt about that. And so they know that they shouldn't be doing that. But
do you think we'll ever make it? Do you honestly think we'll ever make a change?
Well, I think we'll get there. Yes, I do. Government's got to be held to account. You know, I mean, the corruption that's coming out now is unbelievable. And, you know, this CSA CMS thing, with all the suicides that they're responsible for, you know, if this gets chucked on top of this corruption that they're being investigated for now, I mean, this is gonna in another country it'd sink them, wouldn't it? I mean, look what happened with Holland. Their government collapsed because of something with not child support, with some sort of payment. It was child benefits or something. But anyway, their government collapsed because of the wrongdoing.
And no, mate, I've just got the stage, to be honest with you, and you know, Johnny Mercer is, you know, he's not getting anywhere. Nobody's getting anything done. And I just, sometimes I think, is it worth banging the drum anymore? You know, but one life lost, mate, is one life too many. And, you know, what really pisses me off, they just wrote me a letter saying, yeah, one life is too many. But we still got people suffering. We still got, you know, only this week been working with people shifting their mindset, not their mindset, actually shifting their feelings and their emotions, which, you know, and then looking inside and seeing what's going on. And it's just annoying. It's just annoying. It's
frustrating because, I mean, it's blatant misconduct in the public office, isn't it? Willful neglect.
Yeah, it is. And when you look at it, it's even with this COVID-19, everything's getting back. I tell you what, everything's getting back to normal. It's not 100% normal, but I know businesses have been busy this week. And I went out for breakfast this morning with veterans, and it was great to meet up with people. I had a brilliant morning this morning, Craigie boy. Sat with some amazing veterans on a breakfast club. So I'll be doing that quite regular. And got talking to some people. But the saddening thing is, it's just Groundhog Day when it comes to CMS. Because after sitting with the gentleman we were with earlier, what's astonishing there, mate, is where he is in life and how strong he is as an individual.
And broken.
They virtually broke him at one point.
Yeah.
You know, that could have been another Gavin. Easily.
And the thing is, the evidence he's shown, it's blatant fraud. They've ignored him. He's been sending evidence and they just ignore him.
You know, you got to take your hat off to him because he's gone out and he's done everything and he's covered everything. But now they're on about taking money off him. A big lump sum as well.
Yeah.
Fictitious arrears.
Fictitious.
Fictitious arrears. Fictitious. I don't care, mate. You know what I mean, all right? I'm Welsh. I'm not perfect, all right? I learned to read. Do you know how I learned to read?
Anyway, so yeah, they're gonna raid his bank account. They've frozen his account, and they're gonna empty his bank account.
They're going to go for it.
Yeah, they are.
It's disgusting.
But I just want to say this. Is if they empty his bank account, then he'll go to court, and he'll get a court order, and he will go around Arlene Sugden's house and to Stedman Scott's house to get his money back.
Yeah,
he'll send debt collectors around the houses.
I tell you what, mate, the universe is working. We've said, haven't we? You know, because we've talked about this. So I think this is the next step, Craig. I think we're moving up to a next step where we will use the arsenal they use against everybody else. Because it's fraud what they're doing. Blatant.
It is. Blatant fraud. Fraud of misconduct in public office. It's malfeasance as well.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the next chess piece being moved on Thursday. Because that's when it's going to happen.
Mm. Yeah. And, well, you know, the thing is, Stedman Scott and Sugden know what's going on. They're ignoring it. And, you know, they are accountable for this. And this guy will get a court order.
Yeah.
And he will send debt collectors on to get his money back.
And the other thing is as well, what you got to think of is, it's not just them who know about it, all the MPs. A majority of the MPs know about this because how many MPs have you written to?
Oh, loads. And
I've wrote to loads, and it seems we just get generic answers back all the time.
Yeah.
Generic answers.
So they all know what's going on. They know the fraud and corruption's going on, and they're doing nothing about it. And you know what makes me really irritates me, what makes my shit itch, is you look at the Commonwealth Charter. Have you heard the Commonwealth Charter?
No, go on.
Oh, let me read some of this stuff out to you. In fact, I'll send it to you so you can see it. I'll have to send it to you via email, won't I?
Yeah, you'll have to send it to me. I tell you what, let's do another. I only want to keep this one short. Let's do it to 30 minutes, and then we'll knock off.
Clavy, baby, no. This is very short. This is very short, mate.
Okay, go on.
Send it to your Gmail account, okay? Because I don't have sharing. I don't have sharing capabilities.
I don't trust you with sharing, so.
Oh,
Clavy,
baby.
Send it then. I'm tired tonight.
I'm exhausted, mate. I mean,
what have you done?
They really are. CMS are really in a frenzy at the moment. I mean, they're really.
They go for They go for quite a few. They are going for. Yeah, but you know what it is, don't you? They haven't done anything during COVID. No, they. Woohoo! Let's go for them.
Right.
Have you sent it?
I have, Bonnie lad.
You're like a chocolate fire guy.
Cheers, mate.
Why am I sharing?
It is the Commonwealth Charter.
It hasn't come yet, man.
You know, we are the head. The United Kingdom is the head of the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And you know, our government going about human rights, and you know, they're a beacon of morality, and they're pumping out all of this. You know, oh, we support human rights and blah blah blah. We believe in the rule of law, and man, the hypocrisy. Have you got it yet, Clive?
Yeah, I've got it now. I've got it. So what? You explain it.
Right. Okay. So look at it. This is the Commonwealth Charter, which is signed by the Queen, and I think it was on the 11th of. Yeah, I can't read that. It's too small for me to read. But you look at the content of what's on here. I'm actually gonna get you the right, here we go. Look, keep scrolling down to the scrolling down, mate. Go to the articles. Go to the articles. Democracy. Wow. Go on. I can't read that, mate.
So, democracy. We recognize the inalienable right of individuals to participate in the democracy process, in particularly through free and fair elections, in shaping the society in which they live. Governments, political parties, and civil society are responsible for upholding and promoting democratic democratic culture and practices, and are accountable to the public in this regard. Accountable to public, but they never answer us, Craig.
No.
Parliaments and representatives, local governments, and other forms of local governance are essential elements in the exercise of democratic governments. We support the role of the Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group to address promptly and effectively all instances of serious or persistent violations of Commonwealth values without any fear or favour. And this government's not doing that, mate.
Hell no. And I tell you something now, neither is the Commonwealth Office, because of the Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group, because I've reported the government a few times about the violations of the human rights and, for violating the Commonwealth Charter. And they're just not interested. No one's interested.
So human rights, we are committed to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, another relevant human rights covenants and international
instruments.
Right. We are committed to equality and respect for the protection and promotion of civilian, political and economic and social and cultural rights, including the right to develop for all without discrimination on any grounds as the foundations of peaceful, just and stable societies. We note that these rights are universal, indivisible, independent, and interrelated, and cannot be implemented selectively. We are placable, opposed to all forms of discrimination.
When it comes to child support agency, child maintenance service,
where they're rooted in gender, race, colour, creed, political belief or grounds. So where they've brought in that we can't actually protest anymore, mate, that's controversial.
Oh, the media blackout that they've got as well, because obviously we're having to rely on social media to get this out. But mainstream media is we're blocked from having anything in the mainstream media. Keep going down, mate. Go to the rule of law.
This is a big one. Tolerance, respect, and understanding. We emphasise the need to promote tolerance, respect, understanding, moderation, and religious freedom, which are essential to the development of free democratic societies, and recall that respect for the dignity of all human beings is critical to promoting peace and prosperity. We accept the diversity and understanding the richness of our multiple identities, our fundamental Commonwealth principles and approach. But they don't do that, mate. We don't get respect from the government's not respecting the people.
No, it's not.
Freedom. Ooh, hang on.
There we go. Freedom of expression.
So what's freedom of expression to you, Craig?
Well, obviously, the media side of things, having a fair and balanced views. The public have the right to know what's going on, whereas what?
blackout is not a blackout of the media. Is not blackout of the media. Is not freedom of expression, because they say we're committed to peaceful, open dialogue and the free flow of information, including through a free and responsible media, and to enhancing democratic traditions and strengthening democratic processes. Separation of power, we recognize the importance of maintaining the integrity of the rules of the legislature, executive, and judiciary. These are the guarantors in their respective spheres of the rule of law, the promotion and the protection of fundamental human rights. Mate,
adherence to good governance. Wow.
That's whoever writes these, because the Queen just signs off on them, mate. Rule of law. I tell you what, mate.
No, read the rule of law. Read the rule of law, mate, and good governance.
We believe the rule of law as an essential protection for the people of the Commonwealth and as an insurance of limited and accountable government. In particular, we support an independent, impartial, honest...
an accountable government. You see that? An accountable government.
It is, but honest, mate. You know, independent, impartial, honest, competent judiciary, and recognise that an independent, effective, competent legal system is integral to upholding the rule of law.
Yeah, we've got the family courts, the CSA, CMS, CAFCAS, all the other social services. It's a load of. This is just. What's the word I'm looking for? This is just platitudes.
I'm actually. Look at this. Look at this one. Access to health, education, food, and shelter. We recognise this necessity of access, affordable healthcare, education, clean drinking water, sanitation, housing for all citizens. Emphasise the importance of promoting health and well-being in combating communicable and non-communicable diseases. We recognise the right of everyone to have access to safe, sufficient, nutritious food. What about all the people we got below the breadline?
Yeah,
going
exactly.
to food banks at the moment.
And people are going to be sent to food banks, and they're not getting proper nutritional food. And this is because of the government.
Anyway, Craig, what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use that as wallpaper as well.
Yeah, might as well. I want you to have a quick look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 25.
Where?
Let me find the Universal Declaration.
I can't be bothered, mate, because we're not working to it. Can't be bothered. Somebody's just posted something on you, and I want to put on you for you. Have a read of this, Craig.
What? CMS have taken 5,000 on my bank account on the 20th. Can't tell me why. Said, see me on the street. Wow. Have to get in touch with us.
Well, Keith, if you're watching this, get in touch. Because the 18th, it seems to be, Craig, the date this week is the 16th up to the 25th that they're taking money out of people's bank account. Why is that?
And look at this, they can't say how he earns it, but they're going to take the money anyway. It's fraud.
Yeah,
Keith,
it's fraud. It's blatant.
Keith, if they take the money from your bank account, mate, get yourself to county court and get in touch. Yeah, get in touch.
Send us a message. All right, because, Craig, it seems to be the CMS, they've done nothing. You know what it is? They've done nothing during COVID, mate. They've got a lot of mothers now shouting and a lot of fathers shouting because they haven't been paid. And they've got to start raking the money in, haven't they?
But they dished out all the staff to other departments.
Yeah, they did. So, are they going after everybody now? Because he's now the He's now the third or fourth person. So
Yeah. Do you want to come on? Bring him on.
I can't bring him on. I don't know how to do it. But Keith, get in touch with us. Let's have a chat, mate, because you're not the first. You're not going to be the last. And there's going to be many of you more out there watching. Your bank accounts, CMS, they seem to be on a spree.
I don't know how these people sleep at night. I really don't. They are beyond disgusting. Absolute low lives.
And they can't tell him. They can't tell him how he owes this money.
It's fraud. That's fraud. We need to start sending debt collectors around to Stedman Scott's house. We'll get court orders and we'll get them around to the
No, we need to, because I tell you what, mate, what we've just read there, human rights. We don't know you. We haven't got.
That's why you need. This is why you need to read Article 25 of the Universal Declaration. Let me just get it.
Well, let's do it tomorrow because I've got.
No, it's just. I want you to read it, Clive. I want you to read Article 25.
Article 25.
Right, okay. Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
European or universal?
No, Universal Declaration.
Article 25, Universal Declaration. I got it by you. All right. Do you want me to read it to you?
Read it out, mate.
Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The right to food in international law is part of the right to an adequate standard of living, first laid down in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 25, and is treaties such as the United Nations Convention on Rights of the Child and articles.
As you can see, you've got to have money. You've got to be able to have afford to live for medicine and whatnot. As you can see on the Commonwealth Charter, they believe in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Yeah, they do. But every bit of paper we've got today, Craig, you might as well put up this wallpaper in your toilet. Because they law to themselves. Look, CMS, look, read that. Taking 5,000 out of the bank of a gentleman, and they can't even tell him why they're taking it. Guilty, what's it?
It's innocent until proven guilty.
Innocent, yeah, but innocent until proven guilty. But what they're doing is potentially the Health and Safety Law, Health and Safety Work Act 1974. The onus is on the actual person, and you become guilty until you prove yourself innocent. And that's what they're using. You're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. And you can't prove yourself innocent because they don't listen to you.
And the thing is, you've got to look at the Gibbons and Cronin case, where basically the CMS CSA got pulled up for breaching Article 6 of the Human Rights Act, which is the right to a fair trial, but also they got dragged over the coals for being the accuser and forcing the people to provide prove their innocence, when it's actually the accuser supposed to provide the evidence that you're guilty.
Man, I've just started. Yeah, man, they're above the law, mate. I keep telling you, they're above the law. The law doesn't want to do anything. The ombudsman hasn't got no teeth. The fraud squad, what are they called? Action fraud. Do nobody's interested, mate. When it comes to the CMS,
basically, what's going to have to happen, because the establishment is closing doors on people, and there's no remedy. People are being abused by the system, by the CMS, and MPs are not interested. Police aren't interested. Then I guess it's going to have to be the public who have to take the law into their own hands.
Well, yeah. Anyway, on that note, anybody, if you want to get in touch with us, because we've had quite a few we've talked to this last couple of days, actually. So get in touch with us. If you're if they're reading your bank accounts, they're the modern day Robin Hoods. At the end of the day,
no, they're not Robin Hoods at all, mate. The dictators.
no, they're not Robin Hoods. But you know what I'm saying.
Robin Hood, Robin Hood used to steal from the rich and give to the poor.
Exactly, they're
These
not
people
Robin
are
Hoods,
taken from the poor and given to the rich.
Yeah, they're the modern day Robin Hoods, isn't they? So what they do, they rob now from the poor. They rob from not from the poor. They rob from the people that they make vulnerable with their minds and use. Mate, they just use mental health. Because everybody's in fear. Everybody's fearing them.
And the thing is, with that, the strike and fear into people with those brown envelopes. And remember, they've got that nudge team. We need to talk about that nudge team, don't we? The behavioural science team.
Let's do a meeting. Let's do one now in the next couple of days. Let's get D'Artagnan on with us, and what do we call Noel? I can't remember what we call Noel. We could call Noel Rocco, couldn't we?
Why Rocco?
I'll talk to you about. We'll talk about that
porn
later.
star or something.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, Max Headroom, we could call him.
Max Headroom. Yeah.
But
we need to get Mark on as well.
You do need to get Mark on. So we'll have a couple of. Let's do a couple this week, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's jack up a couple this week, all right? So we'll be back this week. We'll liven it up this week. We'll bring some people on who've just been mistreated by the child maintenance services. Any women out there want to come on? Ooh, we got to bring our lady friend on again.
We do, don't we?
People read that quite wrong, actually.
They did.
All right,
misunderstood.
Misunderstood. Yeah, let's bring her back on. And on that note, mate, anybody out there feeling, a bit down, remember, reach out, talk to somebody. All right, get in touch with us. If you, we're always here. So, Craig, I'm feeling a bit tired tonight. I don't know why.
I'm knackered, mate. Absolutely knackered.
So, say good night then, but.
Buenas noches, chaps.
Buenas noches. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen, pet.
Auf Wiedersehen, pet.
That's from up your way, innit? Auf Wiedersehen, pet.
Aye.
You aye, man.
Aye, bonny lad.
I'll speak to you later, buddy lad. And everybody else. Big love.